Welcome to the West Wing Week, your guide to everything that's happening at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This week, the president met with the Sultan of Brunei, his export council, the Intel Science Fair finalists, and Israel Channel 2. He discussed cybersecurity and immigration reform with CEOs and traveled to the Capitol to meet with congressional caucuses, while the First Lady honored women of courage, held a Twitter Q&A, and challenged CEOs to find innovative ways to hire veterans. That's March 8th to March 14th, or stay with it. On Friday, in honor of Women's History Month, the First Lady and Secretary of State honored the recipients of the International Women of Courage Award at the State Department, highlighting the work of women who have shown immeasurable bravery, leadership, and sacrifice in the promotion of women's rights.
With every act of strength and defiance, with every blog post, with every community meeting, these women have inspired millions to stand with them and find their own voices. This is not simply an honor bestowed upon a few, but a call for all of us to open our eyes to the injustices around us and to ask ourselves just what kind of courage we've got inside our own hearts.
On Monday, the First Lady held a Twitter Q&A to answer questions on her Let's Move campaign. For more information, be sure to follow @FLOTUS and @Let'sMove on Twitter for news about the Let's Move initiative and how you can get involved. On Tuesday, the president met with his export council, a group of business executives and government leaders who advise him on trade and export issues to advance the EU-US trade deal he discussed in the State of the Union address.
A lot of the growth during the course of this recovery have been export-driven.
Then, the president met with the 40 high school students who are finalists in the 2013 Intel Science Talent Search.
So you guys should be very proud. You should stay with it. If ignoramuses aren't giving you the respect you deserve, then you just ignore them.
West Wing Week caught up with some of the finalists to hear about their research.
I taught the computer how to diagnose breast cancers to create a biodegradable nanoparticle.
Photosynthetic energy transfer.
Predicting, detecting, and treating seizures.
Classifying when certain types of proteins will interact with each other.
My research is on algae biofuel.
Electricity from stomach bacteria.
Mobile phone-based diagnostics.
An invasive species of crayfish.
Virtually any robot can benefit from my new development.
Later, the president hosted the Sultan of Brunei in the Oval Office, where they affirmed the relationship between our two countries that dates back more than 160 years.
He's gone through 9 U.S. presidents. I won't ask him which one was his favorite.
On Wednesday, the president sat down with Israel Channel 2 for an interview about his upcoming trip to the Middle East and U.S.-Israeli relations. The president then traveled to Capitol Hill, as he'd done the day before, and would do again the next day, to meet with Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate to try to find bipartisan common ground on legislative priorities like immigration reform, reducing gun violence, creating jobs, and reducing the deficit in a balanced way. Back at the White House, Director of the National Economic Council Gene Sperling held an Ask Me Anything session on Reddit.
That will be the difference between whether or not they are able to raise their children.
Later, the president dropped by the Situation Room for a meeting with CEOs to discuss cybersecurity, and then it was on to the Eisenhower Executive Office Building to discuss the relationship between immigration reform and business with a group of CEOs. Meanwhile, the First Lady met with the Business Roundtable, an association of chief executives leading U.S. companies, which combined have nearly 16 million employees. She challenged these leaders to make bold commitments to hire veterans and military spouses.
Today, we have an opportunity to show this generation of veterans that they're coming back to a nation that truly appreciates their service, not simply with words, but with real concrete action.
On Thursday, the president met with his Council of Advisors on Science and Technology, where they discussed their ongoing efforts on the broadband spectrum, innovation and drug development, and STEM education. Later, the president returned to the Roosevelt Room to meet with tech CEOs, and then ended his day with a visit with more than 100 members of the United States Senate Youth Leadership Program. These are outstanding high school students representing all 50 states who are interested in pursuing careers in public service and are spending a week in the nation's capital experiencing their national government in action.
When I think about our future, I think about the incredible talent that's out there all across the country, still idealistic, still motivated, still full of energy, no gray hair. You're not captive to a whole bunch of assumptions about what can be done or can't be done, still full of big dreams. And that spirit is what built this country.
To find out more information on any of these second-term topics or to see complete videos of these events, go to whitehouse.gov. And thanks again for checking out your West Wing Week. But wait, before you go, here to preview the president's trip to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan next week is Deputy National Security Advisor Ben Rhodes for the latest edition of The Roads Ahead.
Next week, the president will make his first trip as president of the United States to Israel, the West Bank, and Jordan. On this trip, it'll be an important opportunity for him at the beginning of his new term to meet with the new Israeli government that was just formed to discuss a range of issues that we cooperate on, as well as to speak directly to the Israeli people. Then he'll go to Ramallah, where he'll meet with President Abbas of the Palestinian Authority and reaffirm our support for both Palestinian aspirations for a two-state solution, but also the important institution building that the Palestinian Authority is doing on the West Bank. He'll then fly to Jordan, where he'll have a chance to meet with King Abdullah and have dinner with King Abdullah and talk about the efforts that the king has underway to pursue political reform within Jordan, as well as to discuss the very challenging regional situation, including the many Syrian refugees who have come across the border into Jordan, who we're seeking to support with humanitarian assistance. So it'll be a very full agenda for the president in these 3 days. He'll have a very important set of meetings, but importantly, he'll also be able to speak to the Israeli people, the Palestinian people, and the people in Jordan about the ongoing U.S. commitment to ensuring a future of greater opportunity, greater democracy, and hopefully the aspirations that we all share for peace in the region.